Okay, today I am talking about my favorite moment from each of the Straw Hat Pirates. And there's some characters with some insane moments, and it's just honestly the moment that just hit me the hardest, whether it be with emotion or just with combat or just whatever. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. I think I'm gonna go from sort of the bottom to the top. So I'm just gonna start off with Brooke. This one's kind of easy for me because there's only a couple moments that stand out to me with Brooke, but his best moment for me would probably have to be when he stole Big Mom's poneglyph and snuck kind of behind the enemy, and then also he stood up to her as well. That whole sequence at Whole Cake Island was probably his best moment so far for me. Just that whole thing of him sneaking around, copying the poneglyph, because he was doing that kind of solo dolo. You know, that's really the only time there's a lot of emphasis on him, other than like Laboon and Thriller Bark. Like, you know, that was a lot of like there was a lot of emphasis on him and what he was doing and trying to steal that poneglyph. And I think that was his honestly best moment so far in the show. Obviously, he has a lot of cool combat moments, but overall for the story, that was just his best moment for me. But next, I'm gonna talk about Chopper, man. Now, with Chopper, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I really don't know. He's really one of the only members of the crew that I don't know, like, what my favorite moment from them specifically is, because he's done a lot for the group, but like even after researching it, I really couldn't find anything that stuck out to me from Chopper. So I'm just gonna have to like go with like him just healing someone. I don't know. He I really don't know for Chopper. I don't. So I'm just gonna go skip him right now. Robin. I mean, with Robin, you know, this one's kind of a given. When she said she wanted to live, that was her best moment. It was. That was her best moment in the whole entire show so far. Obviously, again, she's had some cool combat moments, but she's always like a lot of the other Straw Hat members really get involved and they'll have their little scene, but she's very quiet and like to herself, which is fine. You know, that's just her character, but that's when her character really stepped out of her shell and went nuts. And that whole arc, obviously, Enies Lobby, top tier. You know what I'm saying? Arguably best arc of all time in an anime. But Robin saying she wanted to live was like a whole character switch, and I really can't think of any moment from her that tops that one. I just can't. Going into Frankie, I mean, he doesn't really get involved like he used to, but I think his best moment, just thinking purely off of memory, would have to be the Senior Pink fight. Senior Pink, he was a great character. From what I can remember, he was very weird at first, but I ended up really liking his character from what I recall. And him and Frankie's fight, when Frankie just absolutely unloaded on him, and then dude's crying, and then he has his arms folded, and then he's just taking the beat down, gets knocked out, and then Frankie just wipes his tears off, and then it's like a very intense, not intense, but very sentimental moment where he's like, brother, let's go have a drink sometime if we see you again. Whatever he said. You know, it was a very, very emotional moment, and it was a very, very good moment, and one of Frankie's best. You know, because a lot of the time he just hits you with the super and then calls it a day. You know what I'm saying? He's just building stuff all the time. And it's not, that's just what his character grew into. But a lot of these characters' best moments come in the earlier half of One Piece anyway, because a lot of it is their development rather than now it's just pure story plot, not a lot of character development. While there is still development, the first half of One Piece was pure character development from the pirates, from the crew. So obviously their best moments may come from that. Now I'm gonna include Jinbei because he is obviously a pirate now, but he's like sort of a situation with Chopper. I don't really have a favorite Jinbei moment. Except honestly, I like when he was telling Luffy like I will help you. Like when he was in the prison, when he first meets Luffy, I think it is, when he's up in the prison, then he like asked Luffy for his help. I like that. I also like when he just first came back just now in the show. If you've seen it, oh my gosh, I'm tripping. You know what the best moment is from him personally, I think, is when he's telling Big Mom, I don't want to mess with you anymore. And he's standing up to her. He's about to fight her. And then he returns her the cup of sake. And he's like, here, you take this. We are now enemies. That was just badass, man. That was very, very cold. I see that when I saw that, that really made me like his character a lot more, because I wasn't very fond of him before. Like he was definitely strong. Don't get me wrong. I'm spitting heat. I'm spitting bars over here. But no, he was definitely a very, very strong character. But him doing that was just a whole different level of strength. Mentally, he was just, because no matter who you are in the One Piece world, unless you're on their level, Big Mom is a huge threat. at least 3 times the threat than Jinbei is. You know what I'm saying? So him stand and he that's kind of embarrassing for her. You know what I'm saying? For him to actually have the guts to just stand right in front of her, in front of like damn near her whole crew, and just be like, yo, I don't like you, and I'm not gonna be associating myself with you anymore. And then just returning her a cup of sake as a pirate captain, that's probably embarrassing internally, whether you like it or not. Right? She was taking it as a, oh, you're my enemy now, so I could beat you up. But you know, that's kind of embarrassing. It is. Like if Luffy has his whole crew, and then Sanji were to hypothetically, like he literally did, come up to him and be like, I'm not messing with you anymore, and then proceed to beat him up, which Jinbei obviously didn't beat up Big Mom, but you know what I'm saying? The beat up thing was just icing on the cake. But then, you know what I'm saying? That's embarrassing. So, I mean, Jinbei doing that was kind of bad. That was, hey, that was good. That was good. So, if I were to pick my favorite moment from him currently, that's going to be it, honestly, because that was fire. Next, going to Nami. Nami has a couple good moments. With Nami, I think my favorite moment is either going to be when she fought that one girl with the sea urchin ability or whatever, or the other girl from, I think it was like CP9, because Nami cannot box. If we're talking about pure physical strength, she's just not doing it. So the fact that she's even won some of these fights, I mean, that says something in itself. You know, that's pretty incredible. You know what I'm saying? But I think with one of them, she had the help of Chopper or something like that. If I can recall correctly. But no, especially with the sea urchin girl, I didn't expect her to win that fight at all. I really didn't. I didn't expect her to win it. I don't remember exactly how she did it. I remember it being a situation where she wasn't going to prevail. It just didn't seem like it was going to happen. And she overcame it with obviously the thunderbolt, the hot bubbles and all that stuff with the climate stick. But no, that was genuinely probably her, because the Arlong Park thing was cool. No, actually, oh my gosh, I'm tripping. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Arlong Park, literally her arc. Oh gosh, I'm rhyming today, dude. What's going on? No, but that's literally her whole arc. And I think there is a point where she like ripped off her tattoo or she stood up to him or something. Let me go see. Yeah, so I just took a look. I guess she never did stand up to him. Obviously I don't know what I'm talking about. But no, when she did beat that one girl though, that was really, I didn't expect her to win from just pure memory, because that's all I'm going off of right now. I would have to say that's probably her best moment. Because with Zeus, I mean, the fact that she even acquired this power in the first place is already kind of dope. You know, she has like a lot of lightning potential, you know what I mean? But when she genuinely had no like power in her winning some of those fights, and that one specifically, I mean, physically she couldn't keep up. You know what I'm saying? So that was pure battle sense and just like thinking and using her brain to win that battle. And it's just something I enjoyed, and I think it was probably her best moment. When it comes to Usopp, Usopp has a couple good moments. I mean, his return from the time skip was already a good moment in itself. Because dude went from a frail little boy to a sexy ass man. That's facts. He was, you know what I'm saying? He came back and he was looking kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm not gonna lie to you when I say Usopp versus Luffy, he was kind of going off. Usopp was kind of going off when he was fighting Luffy. His accuracy was on point, and I honestly would have to say Luffy versus Usopp was Usopp's best moment, because at that point, that's when you're like, okay, Usopp is honestly not as much of a like because from that point forward, I did not think any like I did not think he was weak. I did not think like he was as weak as he was perceived to be, because from the beginning of the show, I never ever even imagined him being any sort of powerful. I did not imagine him gaining any type of strength, because obviously like he was using his little like catapult thing, his slingshot, whatever, but I never expected it to go as far as it did in today's current One Piece. And him fighting Luffy showed the potential of how strong he could actually be, because he was really putting up a fight. In his battle sense in that fight, he had control of the floor. Obviously, at the end of the day, Luffy's going to overpower him. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he was even putting up a solid fight to Luffy, a solid fight, because Luffy had tried multiple times to like kind of get close to him, but Usopp actually had like a good defense. He had his impact thing, and he had the stuff on the floor, the fireball, like, you know what I'm saying? He was going off. His accuracy was on point too, and he was really putting up a good fight. And from that point on, when you were watching that fight, you'd be like, damn, this kid's kind of actually strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of really underestimated him. Really, like, superly underestimated him, if that's what I don't even know. But, you know, like, from that point on, I always respected Usopp as a character. Even though he's not my favorite, when I watched that fight, I was like, okay, he could put up a fight and he could actually hang with these dudes in terms of just being around. And I think that was definitely 100% his best moment. Or another honorable mention for him is when he shot down the Marine flag in Eni's lobby. That was insane, because that was him declaring war on the world, as they explained many times in that arc. Obviously, Luffy is the one that's like sort of leading the charge, but him doing that, he's the one doing that action. He's the one that, it's not like Zoro sliced the flag, it's not like Sanji kicked it, you know, he's the one that shot it down, and it was just done in such a fashion to where it was like, okay, we mean business, like, and this is what we're about to do, you know. And it was a great moment. I do think Luffy versus Usopp is his best moment, but him shooting down that flag was also a top tier Usopp moment, I feel like. Now with Sanji, I cannot fathom why I like it so much, but Sanji beating Luffy was probably like the most insane moment in the whole show for me emotionally. I don't know what it was. Because with Usopp, it was like he was kind of throwing a temper tantrum, right? And they were also kids. They were younger. But with Usopp, it seemed like he was throwing a temper tantrum, but he was kind of boxing with Luffy a little bit. Sanji, I genuinely, for some reason, when I watched it unfold, I genuinely never thought that Sanji would come back to the Straw Hat Pirates. I thought it would end up with him possibly either just turning to the dark side completely in sort of a Sasuke type of fashion, and then him coming back a long time later. Like, they like have to join forces to beat a certain force, and then they settle their differences, or he would just end up losing and then dying. Like, I never expected, for some, like, he just seemed like full of hate and full of like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, because he knew he wasn't, like, he didn't want to be there, but he was like, I'm supposed to be. I don't remember all the ins and outs of it, but when he was fighting Luffy, I think that Sanji, while it is a bad moment, right? It's like, damn, that's bad. Emotionally, him beating up Luffy was like the most intense feeling, one of the most intense feelings I've gotten from One Piece, and I think that was his best moment in terms of just emotional trauma that he was causing me. Like, he was going off and I was about to cry. I was dead ass about to cry when he was just unloading on Luffy, and he hit him with the biggest flame conquisteur, whatever his fucking move is, spinning at Mach 7, just going at him right on his head. And Luffy was holding out. He was like, I'm just gonna sit here and take this beating. And he was trying his hardest not to get knocked out. And when that kick was coming down, he was like holding consciousness and then just got knocked out. It was the coldest. It was so insane. And I think in terms of just his character, that was just one of the most insane moments that Sanji has had. And I think that would be my best moment for him. Honestly, I think that would be my best moment for Sanji. I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Like, I just don't know. And then, like, everyone was looking at him when they first saw him. They expected him to be like all nice to them and come back, but he was just pure like, nah, I'm not doing that. And I genuinely thought he was going to be like a Sasuke type of character. I thought he was going to be gone once he left. I thought he was going to be gone for like a majority of the series, and then he would come back later, as I said. But I mean, the way it unfolded, he obviously didn't want to be there at the end of the day, but it was just so insane. And I can't really think of any other thing that I would personally put over that for Sanji. While it wasn't my favorite, obviously I'm like, damn, like, he's bad. Again, it was just his most intense emotional moment for me, and it's gonna have to be his, in quotation marks, best moment for me. Now with Zoro, I mean, there's obviously him taking Luffy's pain. That was insane. Okay, I don't know why I'm spitting this heat today, but it's gotta stop. But no, that was a really emotional moment, and it was just like, to this day, no one knows that he did that. And I think that's just so like, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's not humble. I don't know exactly the word that I'm looking for, but to this day, that's one of his another one of his good moments is when he sliced, I think it was Mr. One, right? Because he wasn't supposed to be able to slice him at all because he was like steel. And he was having trouble the whole time, and he just turned up and eventually sliced and diced him. That was also another really, really good moment because the One Piece fights at the beginning were a lot more like they shouldn't be winning these fights. You didn't like, obviously at the end of the day, the people are going to win, but sometimes they needed help. Like they weren't beating these fights individually, but like if they fought it one on one, it was a lot more like on the edge. I don't know how to explain it. Like Zor, like I genuinely, with some of these fights at the beginning of One Piece, did not see any of these characters winning. They're on their last ends, like, and the way it's animated, it just looks like they are suffering. They look like they are suffering. And with Zoro versus Mr. One, I think the dude's name is again, it's like he was not supposed to be winning this fight and he just turns up at the end. And with the giraffe dude, he also went kind of crazy, and with Pika, he went kind of nuts as well. But I can't think of another moment that's on par with his with him taking Luffy's pain. I really can't, because that is just like, that is probably the one moment in the show that characters do not know about, because I don't think there's one character like Sanji was like, what happened? But I mean, I don't think he knows exactly what happened. And that's like the one moment in the show that like I don't even know if they're ever gonna like tell him. I don't know. They would have to tell Luffy, but it's like maybe Luffy will be like, "Oh, I knew that already." You know, if he told him. But no, it's just like the emotional weight behind that scene. I don't think anything could top that for Zoro as of right now in terms of his combat that he's done, and he's had some great, great combat moments. There's just nothing that's going to beat that emotional weight of him stepping in there and taking all of Luffy's pain to save him. Or was it all of his pain or just a portion? No, it was all of the pain that he endured for that time. And then he took a portion first to like feel it, and he was already fucked up. But it was like, that shows his loyalty. You know what I'm saying? And it shows how good of a brother he is to Luffy. And Luffy still to this day doesn't know. And I don't know if he ever will. And I hope he does, and I hope we see something of them talking about it in the future. But I mean, that's Zoro's best moment for me. And then for Luffy, I mean, however many there are. There's Rob Lucci fight. There's the Katakuri fight. There's him stepping up to Kaido. There's him beating Doflamingo. There's him using Conqueror's Haki for the first time. You know what I mean? There is so many moments for this great top 2 main character, might I add. And this is just probably going to be the hardest one. This is going to probably be the hardest one for me. But now that I listed those off, it might have to be him punching the Celestial Dragon. I'm not going to lie to you when I say I have never been so hyped for such, oh my gosh. Sabaody Archipelago, I don't even know how to say that word. That whole arc was so good. And I feel like it's like everyone knows it's good, but it's not talked about a lot. But that whole arc was so good. But the amount, I forgot the dude's name. I think his name is Charles or something like that. The amount of hate I have for that dude, and seeing Luffy dodge his bullets left and right, just walking up to him straight face, and you could tell there was power, pure raw energy in that punch. By the way, they couldn't even animate it because it turned into scribbles of how fast he was punching this dude. Obviously, I'm over exaggerating. They could have animated it however they wanted to, but you know what I'm saying? That just emphasized how much power was going into this punch, because it was just white background, black scribbles of Luffy. Like, and he was coming in hot, and then he gave him the nastiest punch. The nastiest punch, like, ever. Ever. It was just so good and so satisfying. I was so satisfied. You could have ended One Piece there, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. That's it. He won. He beat the Celestial Dragon. You know what I'm saying? I think that's probably his best moment, because again, a lot of the times, while fights may be good, the emotional weight is a huge factor. Now, him versus Rob Lucci, I feel like that was his most grimy on the edge fight so far, other than Katakuri. He was really like, he didn't even seem like he was winning that. Like, he genuinely didn't seem like he was winning that. But Katakuri was a very fair enemy, and I enjoyed his character. He was very like respectable in terms of the way he fought. Like when the girl cheap shot Luffy, he like stabbed himself. Like, it was nice. He was a very good character. And that fight was really good too. Luffy versus Rob Lucci. I mean, that was like, as I said, like in anime, there are a lot of fights where characters don't seem like they can win, but in One Piece they do it in a way that like really makes it seem like they just cannot win this fight, and they are not going to win this fight, and they just somehow pull through, and I love it. And with the Rob Lucci fight, Luffy didn't seem like he was going to win at all. I think that's when he used Gear 3 for the first time. I want to say that was when he used it for the first time, and it was just such a good fight. Such a good fight. That's when he also like got mini after it too, which is funny. And in this fight, they were genuinely boxing. Like, there were some dodges, punches, uppercuts getting thrown. It was like, it looked like a Floyd Mayweather match. Like, it was kind of super clean. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it was a super satisfying fight to watch. But I do think that his best moment is honestly that Celestial Dragon punch. That's really like, he's went against the government so many times, obviously, but he really like, no one was touching Celestial Dragons. Like, that's like taboo. Like, why would you even do that in the One Piece world? Obviously, like, that's how they look at that, you know. It's like going against the world government's one thing because there are so many pirates, but like, pirates weren't even touching Celestial Dragons like that, you know what I'm saying? He was like, they were like, is this guy a lunatic? What is he doing? No way he just did that, you know what I'm saying? And just watching it unfold, and you being the watcher just getting enraged with him, and then like, it sort of felt like I was walking up to dude and about to punch him. You know what I'm saying? Just listening to them talk and chatter and like treat people like they were animals, and then just walking up those stairs and then dodging those and then just punching him right in his nostrils. I mean, it couldn't get any better than that. And I think that is personally my favorite Luffy moment right now. But I'm sure that can change with time. But those are my favorite moments. That's my favorite moment from each of the Straw Hat Pirates. Let me know if I should do like my favorite moment from each Naruto character, or favorite moment from, you know what I'm saying, favorite moment from each Demon Slayer character, or something like that. You know, I thought this was a little fun video. So yeah, that's really it. And yeah, that's really it.